about. So it's all about turn waste into valuable resources. Okay, so aside from our regular speakers, so we have Karen Hizola as well as Efren Kabigad. Today we're going to have an additional speaker. So by profession, or not sure if we can say by profession, but she graduated, or she graduated with electronics and communication engineering degree from De La Salle University, trained by Al Gore, an American politician and environmentalist, to be a climate reality leader. Okay, his Al Gore's movie is really good. I suggest for you to watch it if you have extra time. She also completed soil advocate course with the international group Kiss the Ground, and she strongly advocates to lessen our food waste in landfills and educates earth advocates on how we can make the most of our resources. So everyone, let's all welcome Miss Rina Papio. All right, so I think it will be Karen first who will she's still in the waiting room. All right. I think it will be Karen. Hi, Karen. You'll be the
Hi.
first one to as our speaker this afternoon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, yeah, but can we make sure that Rina is in the room? I'm not sure if she was able to join already, but as of like a minute ago, she said she was still in the waiting room. Um,
We will check on the lobby because if someone's in the lobby, usually there's a notification for us to admit
mm-hmm,
her.
mm-hmm. It's interesting. Okay, hold on. Um, you have her information, ba? It's Rina at greenspace.ph.
Yep.
Okay, awesome. Sige. All right. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. I hope everyone's doing well today. How's the weather there? It's rather cold and rainy in Baguio today. Yeah. Um, so this afternoon we'll be talking about soil, and actually, I invited Rina. She's a good friend of mine, and she's a fellow coach um, for Climathon. I invited her today because she's gonna share to you about bokashi composting, which is something that I think you can do at home. Uh, and I just want to make sure that she's already in the room. Reens, are you in the room? If she's not yet, can we make sure that she's able to join? And while we're doing that, we could play the video that I sent earlier today. So since we're going to be talking about soil, I'll show you a video. It's just 12 minutes long, and it has a lot of interesting things that I think you can learn. And I think some of the things that will make you realize the importance of soil. And
I think
then, yeah,
Rina is already with us. Hi, Rina.
Hello.
There she
awesome.
is.
Hi, Reens.
I'll try my camera.
Hi, Reina. Good
Hi.
afternoon.
Good. Sorry, am I late?
No, you're good. You're good. Sige. Awesome. Sige. It's good to see you, Rina.
Good to see you, Ka. Hello to
Nice.
everyone.
Sige. Rin, so what I'm doing now is I'm asking them to play a video that's gonna give them some insight into soil and the importance of soil. And then I'll give a short like 10-minute talk about soil and the processes that happen in soil, and then I'll pass the mic on to you. Is that okay? Reens? Yeah? Are you there? Reens? Rina? Oh no.
I
Re-
think um
She's dry.
there's a
She's
delay. Mhm.
okay. Sige, let's go ahead and play the video.
All right.
Hi. Thank you.
People think, oh, soil is dirt and dirt is everywhere. But our lives depend on soil.
There are places that have already lost all of their topsoil.
What's happening to the soil and what's happening today is very scary.
The United Nations declared soil finite and predicted catastrophic loss within 60 years.
We have identified 10 soil threats. The soil erosion is number one because it's taking place everywhere.
When we lose soil, we threaten our food supply, clean drinking water, and a lot more.
Out of the dust bowl.
In the past 100 years, the emphasis was on what can soil do for plants and what can soil do for people.
Tons of priceless topsoil.
And we're now realizing we have to take care of it and reverse that and ask, well, we have soil to manage. We can't just degrade it and leave it.
Millions of acres laid waste by thoughtlessness and neglect.
The impact of soil degradation could total $23 trillion in losses of food, ecosystem services, and income worldwide by 2050.
Soil is the habitat for over a quarter of the planet's biodiversity. So it plays a very important role in mitigating climate change.
Climate change cannot be separated from food insecurity, from the loss of biodiversity, and from pollution.
Here's why we're facing a silent soil crisis, and what that means for the world.
This is the Rodale Institute. The farm here works on regenerative organic agriculture.
We grow almost everything that you can grow in Pennsylvania, from corn and soybean, wheat, oats, to forages, alfalfa.
Kale.
This is actually the birthplace of modern organic agriculture.
Projects we do here all are centered around improving and rebuilding soil health. We have farming system trial that's been running for 42 years.
It is the longest running side-by-side comparison of organic and conventional grain cropping systems in North America.
This is all organic.
The decades-long research has found organic agriculture produces yields up to 40% higher during droughts, can earn farmers greater profits, and releases 40% fewer carbon emissions. How's all that possible? The Rodale Institute says it starts with soil.
So when we talk about healthy soil, we are talking about all aspects of the soil, chemical, physical, and biological, that should be in a perfect status to be able to produce healthy food for us.
After all, the world relies on soil for 95% of our food production.
Traditionally, soil has been always linked to agriculture, but that's not all.
If the water is not purified by soil, we wouldn't have clean water to use every day.
Soil is the world's largest water filter.
As the water percolates through the soil down to the groundwater, it gets cleaned for us. And it may start out with bacteria and toxins and all sorts of filthy stuff. By the time it gets down to the groundwater, it can be pristine and pure.
Soils are also important for ecosystem services. What's that? Invisible processes that are taking place in nature. For instance, carbon sequestration. We don't see it, but through all the process that is taking place via the photosynthesis of plants, the carbon dioxide that is in the atmosphere is used by plants to convert it into energy, and that goes through the soils.
Soil contains more than 3 times the amount of carbon in Earth's atmosphere, and 4 times as much in all living plants and animals combined. Look at this NASA map that charted CO2 in the atmosphere over the course of a year. You'll see it goes red with tons of carbon, right when farms across the world are tilling the land. Then by mid-June, as plants are ready to harvest, it's all green, meaning those plants are absorbing some of that carbon back, depositing it into the soil again.
Began with the discovery of a single microorganism in a pinch of soil.
Soil also provides the basis for antibiotics.
Solely through their efforts, the earth has now been made to give back life.
And so today, about 3/4 of our antibiotics that are used in clinical settings actually derived from soil bacteria.
Medicines derived from soil bacteria changed healthcare, removing the top 10 causes of death, like typhoid fever, tuberculosis, and typhus.
Drug-resistant bacteria and a lack of new antibiotics could kill millions every year.
Doctors say the world needs new antibiotics to be discovered in order to tamp down on these resistant infectious diseases.
We know only 1% of what is living in soils. We need to discover them because otherwise we will have only the consequences.
The major cause for this soil degradation that happens are unsustainable agricultural practices, overgrazings, deforestation, and improper land use. And changing climate is also worsening that.
By 2050, soil erosion may reduce up to 10% of crop yields. That's like removing millions of acres of farmland.
Erosion is a natural process, but it can be exacerbated by people.
And now it's much faster than soil formation rate. In some countries, like the United States, soil erosion is 20 to 30 times faster than soil formation rate. In some countries, it's over 100 times faster.
Take the plow as an example of human impact.
So basically, farmers look at tilling as a method to prepare seed bed because they wanted to have a clean field free of any residue and also soft and firm that allows the seed to germinate and have a perfect crop. So we didn't realize that this aggressive tillage every day, every year, year after year, can also have negative impact on the soil.
The plow takes soil and overturns it and mashes soil entirely. It breaks down clods into smaller particles. Those particles make soil vulnerable to wind and water.
Soil erosion has been accelerated tremendously in the last couple hundred years as farming has become more and more intensive. And most of that is due to plowing.
The good news is that we know enough to get to work. And some of the ways that we're going back to historical knowledge, older knowledge that's in systems in Australian Aboriginal culture, in West African culture, in Native American culture. But I think that knowledge is coming back into play.
Regenerative farming involves a variety of practices.
This includes no-till farming, rotational cattle grazing, less synthetic fertilizers, and growing both cover and diverse crops.
Farmers could go to no-till agriculture, which means not plowing, plant cover crops, which provide the cover for the land when the main crop is not there, and also used more mixed cropping, where they're using some of these deep-rooted perennials on a small portion of their land. They could reduce erosion dramatically, if not completely.
We need to try not to destroy the soil structure because below the soil is organized in a way in which there should be a space for the water to flow, for the oxygen to circulate. But if you just compact it, your soil is not alive anymore. You need to ensure that there is always food for your microbes to eat there, meaning that you need to get organic matter.
Integrating animals is one way to do this. Think of good old-fashioned manure.
The cover crops add organic matter or carbon to the soil. So that's an example where we really don't have to sacrifice yield at all. And the practice is relatively inexpensive. Sometimes farmers can even harvest the crop that's used as the cover crop, and then they have a second line of income.
Economic studies show it can be more profitable to do this kind of farming.
We worked with over 100 farmers in corn and soy systems across the Midwest and saw that growing corn by $24 an acre, and for soybeans, that was a $17 an acre reduction in costs. But they also saw that net farm income, when you accounted for the revenue that they got as well, up to $52 per acre for corn and $45 for soybeans.
According to the USDA, about 21% of cultivated cropland in the US right now is continuously using no-till farming. Companies like General Mills and PepsiCo are betting big on it. And companies that manufacture plows, like John Deere, are making equipment for no-till farming.
You need investment because many farmers know what to do, but they don't have the means, they don't have the tools, they don't have the resources to invest because agriculture, unfortunately, does not make you rich.
I think right now the current policy are not really encouraging farmers, but it can change.
One of the first steps may be to rethink subsidies.
We really need to find the ways to make it possible for farmers to make the move toward these sustainable practices. And that can be done through crop insurance, which could reward farmers for adding carbon to their soil, which will enrich the soil and make it healthier and less likely to erode.
For example, the US government spends billions in crop insurance subsidies.
Subsidies will cost the nation nearly $1 billion in 1940.
It pays farmers when their crop yields or revenues decline. From 1995 to 2020, the program paid over $247 billion to farmers for causes of loss, like drought, extreme weather, and declines in prices. According to the World Resource Institute, some of these programs may encourage farmers to use an excessive amount of pesticides and fertilizers in the quest for immediate yield improvements, growing more food without accounting for how these chemicals can damage the soil and hurt long-term productivity.
There's been discussion of soil subsidy or soil insurance. For example, crop insurance, instead of being based on how much corn one produced last year, could be based on the health of the soil. And so farmers are reluctant to take, say, 10% of their corn out of production and replace that 10% with prairie plants, even though just that small amount will prevent most of the erosion that occurs on the land. They can't do that because they'll get 10% less crop insurance. That's kind of a perverse system. In the short term, it costs money to make the change. So we need to compensate farmers for the cost of making those changes to sustainable practices.
This pretty rare win-win-win. It's good for the environment, it's good for the farmer's bottom line, and it's good for society as a whole.
Awesome. So that's the end of the video. Um, did we pick up something from that? I hope we realized how valuable soil is and how actually how integral it is to our life right now. I think we can stop the screen share muna so we could see. And then would love it if people could turn on their cameras if you're able to. Para
Yes, please.
we could have um, a good conversation, a good discussion.
There you
Awesome.
go. Thank you
Yeah,
for turning on your camera. The rest
thanks very
also
much.
kindly turn on your cameras
Okay.
so that we can
Um,
see lovely faces.
yeah, awesome. Okay, so let's start the discussion with a bit of background around soil. So what happens in soil? Do you know that one of the best factors in making good soil is actually a combination of rocks and stones and microbes? Why is it like that? Kasi what happens is, most of the time it's the rocks and the stones that carry the minerals, right? But they can't be taken in by the roots of the plants automatically. So what happens is the roots of the plants and these microbes actually release certain enzymes. And then when that happens, it's like they quarry on a microscopic level yung mga rocks na to. And then once these break down, they're easily taken in na by plants. And so if you look at for example a forest. Who here has gone to a forest recently? Who among us here has gone to the forest recently? Nice. So Glenn, can you tell me what you observed in the forest and which forest did you go to?
I've been Daragitan, Tanay Rizal. I'm
Nice.
just trying. I observe the nature is so cool and green. And one more thing, I found out the oldest tree in Daraitan Rizal. That's all.
Nice. What's the oldest tree there? What's the tree type?
Nara.
Okay. How old is it? Over 100 years?
Yes, I think. I don't know, but
Uh,
maybe more than 100 years.
nice. That's awesome. Yeah. Actually, trees actually communicate with each other, no, through the soil, through their root systems also. So there's always an interplay between plant roots, tree roots, and yung microorganisms in the soil. Take note na since soil actually contains around 25% of the biodiversity in the planet. The more diverse your soil is, it's like a pyramid. So the wider the base you have, that will support life as you go up the food pyramid. So dapat we always encourage more soil life. Um, there are so many things actually that I can share to you about soil, but I would like to give Rina the space to share about her quest and what she's been doing for the past years. Pero one more thing lang before I pass the mic to Rina. This afternoon pala, I met with one of our farmers. Her name is Manang Elizabeth, and I requested for her to bring some soil actually um, from one of the farms in here in Tublay, Benguet. So it's about an hour away from Baguio because I'm going to Batangas next week and I'm going to visit another forest there. If you travel or if you go to forests or if you go to farms, it would be nice if you could get soil from places that are very rich pa in terms of the environment, yung natural resources niya, and then siya yung unsullied by chemicals. Ideally, get some soil kahit na a tablespoon and then put it in your plants at home. Pero you only do that if you're allowed. Kasi of course there are parks and places that are protected and you can't do that anymore. Pero I'll give you one clue. If you enter a forest and if you're able to do it, what you do is take a look at the forest floor. Kasi most of the time, if there are leaves on the forest floor, the best soil actually sa buong mundo is the one that you can find sa ilalim ng leaves ng forest floor. Bakit? Because it has the best combination of organic matter plus the roots ng trees and ng forest, plus also the moisture content is kept at a very optimum level for microbes to develop and grow. Sige. Rins, are you good to go?
Yes, ready.
Awesome.
So
All right.
I will be sharing my screen if okay na. Should I? Okay. Hello.
Go ahead, Miss Rina. Good afternoon. Yeah.
Good afternoon. So, ang ganda ng video kanina, no? And if we can appreciate kung bakit important yung soil. Wait, hang on. I'm sharing. Uh, okay. There. Are you able to see the screen now?
Yep. Yes,
Okay.
Rina.
All right, sige, we'll go ahead. So Green Space, I'm Rina Papi from Green Space, and this is what we do. We're trying to create new destinations and purpose for food waste. And the goal really is to help as many households, businesses to make this very important and very urgent change from landfillers to land healers. Okay ba yon? Type nyo ba yon? So, we're all, we're all guilty pa of being landfillers and parang it's synonymous to being polluters, no? Kasi as long as nilalagay natin yung ating waste, uh, especially kung mixed pa rin yung ating waste, no? We put it in garbage bags, hand it over to our garbage haulers. So alam na we're having them deliver our waste to the landfill. So landfilling pa rin yung ating practice. So what if we can actually change that? And by doing so, we produce compost that will make help build healthier soil. Now we take part in healing our planet. So parang mas maganda no na we're healers than landfillers. And then we'll specifically be talking about food waste. Yung mga atenis ba natin, are we all from the city, from Manila, or I mean at least urban na urban na setting? Most likely food
Yeah.
waste. Okay, so every day, lalo Pinoy, mahilig sa kainan, right? And kaya nating mag-celebrate ng mga small wins konting kibot, pwede nang magpapansit or magpa-barbecue and whatever ang meron, palaging may unavoidable food waste. And then if we throw it away, pollution. So we really want to change how we handle, how we manage our food waste. Una, so this empty plate, no, let this be a reminder of our responsibility with food waste from production, yung pag namili tayo, namimili ba tayo ng sobra-sobra and end up throwing them away. And when we're eating, not because we're telling you or teaching you how to compost, pwede nang wag ubusin ng pagkain, iko-compost ko na lang yan. So, we're trying to deal with unavoidable food waste. Alam niyo kung bakit? Kasi just in NCR, over 2,000 tons of food waste every day, yan yung hinahatid sa landfill. 2,175 tons ha. So, di ba 1 ton is 1,000 kilograms. So, imagine niyo gaano kadami yung 2,000 tons. So, lahat tayo may contribution doon ng mga small packs of food waste every day that we're disposing. And it seems overwhelming, pero collectively, kung bawat isa sa atin, yung household natin would be responsible with the food waste that we throw away instead of it ending in landfill, magkakaroon talaga yun ng impact. You know, we're partnered with WWF and sa data that we've gathered, more than half of what we're throwing away ng mga households natin or even businesses is biodegradable waste. So there's food, there's yard waste, and other biodegradable materials. And out of that 52%, 80+% yung food waste na naitatapon. And sobrang sayang siya kasi all this ending in landfill means hindi lang yung food waste, yung food yung nasayang. Everything used to prepare it or tinanim siya, they transfer siya from the farmers to the city, to the market, the packaging, the manpower, the water, all the resources used, nasasayang din kasi after siya mo-produce, itatapon lang. So, yung value chain na yun, sayang, nasasayang every step of it. Sabi nga, kung country daw yung food waste, it would be the third largest emitter of greenhouse gases. Kasi we let it end in a landfill, mabubulok siya doon, deposit tayo ng methane sa atmosphere. So, nagko-contribute pa tayo with these issues in climate change. Kaya, we really want to do something about this food waste. And with the program of WWF, the Sustainable Diner, they help businesses and we're extending it to households din na first, we need to prevent or minimize the food waste. So the way we source out our ingredients and the way we handle or handle every part of the ingredients sa ating mga recipes na wala tayong sinasayang. So prevent, minimize. And kung sakali mang meron tayong mga excess food, instead of throwing them away, maybe they can go to food banks or soup kitchens. And kung at the end of it all, talagang after trying to prevent, minimize, and nag-donate na tayo, meron pa rin kailangang itapon, don't let it end in a landfill dahil yung food waste na yun, it's a very valuable resource. And we're going to use it to help build healthy soil. Sabi natin, sa green space, we're trying to create new destinations and it starts sa source. So, kung dating nilalagay natin sa garbage bag to be thrown away, what if we can use a system wherein we will put everything in a bucket, and this bucket is actually a composting bucket para yung food waste na yon will end up into composting. At the same time, when we say new destination, instead of landfill, a composting site, what I'm showing you right now is a photo of rapid composter. This is something that we're trying to set up here in the city na small scale in such a way na we're talking 1 ton of food waste to be processed daily. The small space lang yung kailangan niya. compared to mga malalaking composting facility where we require hectares of land or kailangan nating mag-haul out ng truckloads of food waste. So ito, no, in a small community, 2 to 3,000 households, tapos all their food waste will go into this machine, and in 24 hours we have compost na. So kung dating source of pollution yung food waste rotting in landfills, so ngayon we make compost out of it, and that compost we can use in growing urban gardens or helping or organic farms. Yan ngayon yung bago nating supply chain. And for green space, what we're trying to do, or yung malaking focus nung ginagawa namin is the composting services. So it would be great if you can do your own composting na from collection of your food waste until turning it na compost sa iyong garden kung meron kang garden. But just in case na you don't have the time, you don't have the space, that's what we're offering. We'll do it for you. What you need to do is to commit to collecting your food waste in the composting buckets. Once it's full, we'll take the bucket from you, we'll compost it, and then you will provide you with empty buckets, and you just continue collecting your food waste. So dapat wala na ngayong excuse. Either you find some method of composting that fits your lifestyle, or kung hindi mo talaga magawa, let us do it for you. So, hindi na nga dapat question na magko-compose na ba ako ng food waste ko. Ang question na dapat is, aling composting method yung gagamitin ko. And with this Book a Bucket services, we're fortunately partnered with WWF, wherein they helped us come up with a mobile app. So this Soilmate app will give people and businesses access to subscribe to our composting services. At the same time, when your bucket is full, you book a bucket exchange through the app. So pindot-pindot ka na lang, let us know puno na yung bucket mo, and then we'll get it from you. I'll share with you a short video of what this Soilmate app is about. Ay, hindi pa pala, sorry, isang side pa. So this is now your new cycle. Parang ito yung bago mong lifestyle when it comes to your food waste. You put everything in a bucket, you exchange your bucket, and then us as your partner will bring it to a composting site. The compost, we will help urban gardens, farms, and syempre, the produce natin din naman babalik, di ba? So, napaganda na natin yung ating soil, which means mag improve din yung harvest ng ating gardens and farms. So, maganda yung produce na makakarating sa atin. So, yan. Here's the video about soil. All right. So, just to share with you what we're trying to do here in Green Space and with the use of the app, no, we've already diverted over 37,000 kilograms of food waste away from the landfill. So less pollution, more compost for soil and plant nutrition. And at the same time, we're already servicing about 165 household and business subscribers. And we've already completed close to 3,000 bucket exchanges, no? So that's been going around between our soil mates and us and our partner composting sites. In terms of businesses, so mga offices or mga kahit hindi food business, no, like offices like Canva, AXA, dahil maraming tao dun sa building, sa office, kung saan may tao, may food waste, may waste, no? So, doon maraming food waste. And they are very much aware na they're contributing dun sa pagdami ng waste going to the landfill. Kaya they develop their own composting program. We work with them. We teach them how to collect it and then we compost it for them. And these are the other um, businesses that we're working with right now. And also dahil talagang we're seriously trying to be parang able to contribute to the um, SDGs uh, ang usaping food waste or even food loss, that would fall under SDG 12, and specifically 12.3, target 12.3 is about food waste and food loss. And mind you, we're only talking about food waste. Iba pa yung food loss, no? Food waste is the one sa consumer end. Yung na-waste natin. Food loss is from production. Di ba nakikita natin sa Facebook, no, na naku, nag-harvest ng tone-toneladang kamatis, tas walang mapuntahan, nabubulok na doon. So that's food loss before pa siya makarating sa market, nasasayang na. And gusto nating tulungan yung mga farmers na maiwasan yung food loss. So, ito, we're partnered, not where we are a member of the stakeholders chamber, the SDGs ng NEDA, para we can closely work with them and make sure na what we're doing is aligned with the achievement of the SDG and how we can work with other partners para mas marami talaga tayong food waste na ma-divert, meaning mas marami tayong compost na magagawa. Pero what does it mean for each one of us, for our households or our businesses or offices? Actively involved tayo dun sa collection. So, laging we want to do something at source, and sabi natin sa umpisa, no, we will create a new destination, yung dating napupunta sa garbage bag, sa bucket. Pero hindi to basta bucket na ipunin mo lang sa isang bucket yung iyong food waste. We're teaching about the bokashi method. And bokashi, it's a Japanese term. It means fermented organic matter. So, the key to bokashi is fermentation. Familiar naman tayo sa food processing. It's a food, it's common food process. So, hindi lang pala food ang pina-ferment, pati food waste. So, bakit naman natin gustong i-ferment ang food waste? By fermenting food waste, it means na we're preventing it to rot. So, imbes na mabubulok siya, nabuburo siya, and kung hindi siya mabubulok, it will not have that foul odor coming from rotting food. And alam naman natin na mabaho yan. And in fact, yun yung iniiwasan natin. Kaya gustong-gusto natin at the end of the day, kailangan maitapon ko na tong food waste na naipon ko for the day. Now, with the bokashi method, since hindi siya mabubulok, and there are microbes present in the whole bokashi process, kung saan they're responsible in the fermentation of the food waste, and may mga active microbes na ang role nila is to break down the odor-causing gases. So, kung walang mabahong amoy, it won't attract pests. So, walang uod, langaw, ipis, daga. And it's very simple. Simple siya in a way na you just need to learn how to use your bucket and brand. So, yan yung materials na kailangan, no, for bokashi composting. The buckets, this is something na pwede mong gawin. What's important is may mahanap kang lalagyan na may mahigpit na takip. Dahil the process of fermentation should be anaerobic, meaning walang hangin or very little air inside your bucket. Pero ang crucial na part is the bokashi brand. So what you're seeing in the photo, itong photo ng nasa jar, yan yung bokashi brand. We make our bokashi brand. It's a mixture of rice bran mixed with a little carbonized rice hull, yung inuling na ipa. And then it's fermented using a microbial inoculant. It's called EM1. So, nandoon yung mikrobyo. Kaya a handful of your bokashi brand, punong-puno na yan ng beneficial microbes or good bacteria that would help in fermenting the food waste. And kung ano yung kailangan nating aralin to do bokashi composting is we call it the art of layering. So, may art, no? Pati basura, pati food waste. So, It's a simple process kasi always all food waste can be added. You don't need to sort through your food waste, and hindi mo na kailangang i-segregate pa na ito from preparation, ito leftover. You can put everything, even meat, dairy. So kailangan lang na properly layered. So yun yung mga yung 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 steps of layering. Simple lang din naman siya. Uh, you can practice it sa bahay mo. Just set up a container by the sink na at the end of the day, ilalagay mo na sa bucket mo yung nakulat mo na food waste. And every bowl full of food waste, just add a handful of your Bokashi brand. Yan na yung layers mo. You do it every day until mapuno yung bucket mo. So, just to share, meron tayong mga subscribers, nakatira sila sa condo, and pag mga one or two people lang in a household, it takes them a month bago mapuno yung bucket nila. So with the Bokashi method, you don't worry about your food waste nandoon sa kitchen mo, nandoon sa ilalim ng sink mo or sa terrace mo, iniipon mo na baka bumaho na yung unit mo. That's what the Bokashi method is, parang yung value niya for your food waste collection. Kahit abutin niya ng isang buwan, basta maayos yung pagkakalayer mo with Bokashi. Hindi siya babaho and hindi siya uuren, lalangawin. And you really just have to understand that what's that smell, no? Sabi natin fermented. Ano ba yung amoy ng fermented? So, imagine sweet sour smell. So kagaya ng suka, di ba? Suka is fermented. Although suka is more on the maasim side. Pero our Bokashi brand, pag ginawa yung Bokashi brand, there's also molasses in it. Kaya meron kang sweet sour smell. Yung pag nakuha mo yung Bokashi brand mo, that sweet sour smell, yun dapat yung amoy ng iniipon mong, nilalayer mong food waste sa iyong bucket. If you're doing it right, no foul odor. So the worst that could happen is, ay, ang kapal-kapal pala ng layers ng food waste mo. Ang kapal ng food waste mo, tapos binudburan mo lang ng konting Bokashi brand sa ibabaw. So what could happen is, hindi pa nararating nung mga microbes yung bottom nung makapal mong layer of food waste. Mabubulok na siya, pagkagalingan na siya ng mabahong amoy. Don't worry about it. It only means na adjust and really learn paano yung magandang pag-layer ng inyong food waste and brand sa inyong bucket. And then, may bonus pa yung Bokashi composting na dahil once you collect your food waste, for us, yung bucket na ginagamit namin and the thing, I mean, the bucket that we sell to our customers and what we use in our servicing, meron siyang strainer sa loob. Ang purpose lang niya is for any liquid na yung mga leachate nung kinolect na pagkain, magko-collect siya sa bottom, you can drain the juice para ma-access yung juice, may gripo doon. This Bokashi juice is also full of beneficial microbes. Kanina, no, Karen was sharing yung healthy soil, di ba? It's full of microbes. So dito sa photo na nakikita niyo right now, this was shared by one of our soilmates from Davao. So ganyan na yung pot niya, halos wala nang tumubong. May konting stem and 'di ba sira-sirang dahon na lang dun sa pot niya. Ang ginawa niya, that Bokashi juice, in-apply dun sa soil. So what's happening is yung microbes na nandun sa ating Bokashi juice, napupunta siya sa lupa, and then they thrive and they digest whatever organic matter na nandun, and then they make the nutrients available for the plants. So the root system ngayon, meron na siyang i-absorb na nutrients from the soil. And ayan, after 1 month lang of applying the Bokashi juice dun sa kanyang lupa, ganyan na yung kinalabasan ng halaman niya. So, amazing na how healthy soil can really give us this kind of healthy plants. So, imagine nyo kung sa mga edibles yan nangyayari. Ang ganda ng harvest ng crops na makuha natin. Basta mag-healthy din yung soil natin. Here's the short video naman of how you do your layering. there. Simple lang, di ba, yung pag-layer. And then, yung nakita nyo dun sa video, after natin mag-layer sa bucket ng ating food waste, we have to keep it and let it parang ferment it for at least 2 weeks, meaning keep it covered, don't open it for 2 weeks para the microbes would work anaerobically, no, for ferment niya yung food waste. After, I remember fermentation pa lang yung nangyayari sa bucket. So when you open your bucket after 2 weeks, makikita mo pa rin all the food waste na nilagay mo. Ay, bakit nandito pa rin yung balat ng saging or yung lahat ng prutas, gulay na nilagay ko, nandun pa rin siya. It's not visible sa mata natin, pero na-breakdown na nung fermentation process yung structure ng food such that pag hinalo na natin siya sa soil, we still need the soil microbes to finish the decomposition. Pero mas mabilis na. Traditionally, pag naman naglubog tayo ng ating mga food waste sa soil, it would take about mga 6 months or more bago siya completely ma-compost. Pero if it's fermented, we only give it 6 to 8 weeks and then meron na tayong compost. Kaya as you've seen sa video, meron lang siyang maliit na, sa terrace yan, no? Soil factory na meron lang plastic bin, nilayer naman yung food waste with soil. So you can do it small plastic bin sa terrace mo or you have a garden, so kagaya ng nakita mo dito sa video, sa photo, na maghukay ka sa garden mo, dun mo i-layer yung food waste, soil. Kung may garden ka, naturally, meron kang dried leaves, source of carbon. Never burn your dried leaves kasi sinusoli lang natin yung carbon sa atmosphere. In fact, kung nilagay natin siya sa soil and we get to trap all those carbon sa soil, it will help make the soil much healthier. So layer your food waste, your dried leaves, soil sa iyong pit or dito sa yung soil factory. Yung iba can put it diretso sa yung mga giant pots, plant boxes para pagtataniman mo na siya. So those are the things you can do to finish your composting. So as you've seen from the video, di ba? Healthy soil, and imagine tong food waste na tinatapon natin, it can actually help build nutrient-rich soil. So bakit natin sasayangin? Pag right now, no, sanay tayo na garbage haulers going around, may bit-bit na mga food waste, na mga basura. What if ang bit-bit ng ating mga trucks ay compost, bringing it to different gardens, to different farms, kung saan mas lalo pang mapapaganda yung soil and it will help in sequestering more carbon from the atmosphere. I just want to share a story of regeneration. Ito ay friends natin from Bokashi, Myanmar. And besides dito sa nakita nyong napakalaking upo, what we're sharing actually is yung story ng yard nila. Kasi this yard, when they started with their yard, it's all sand. So sandy yard. So hindi ganon kadaling mag-grow ng food. Pero ang ginawa nila, there's a market across their yard. Kinuha nila yung mga fruits, vegetable peelings na tinatapon, mga tira-tirang tinatapon ng market. They collected it, and kung nakita nyo yung mga blue drums doon sa likod, dilayer nila doon yung mga nakuha nilang fruit and vegetable scraps, layered it with bokashi bran, let it ferment, and then yung yard nila, hinukay nila everywhere. Kung nakikita nyo dito sa paligid na meron lang mga bricks where they can walk, pero everything in between, hinukay nila and nilubog nila yung kanilang mga fermented food waste. And then after months of doing this, building yung soil nila sa kanilang yard, they finally started planting. And ganyan yung mga klase ng harvest nila from there, what used to be a sandy yard. Maganda yung harvest, di ba? Yung upo.
Beautiful,
Yes,
Rin.
yes.
Beautiful.
So imagine from sand, ganyan ang nag-grow nila. So kaya sabi nila, talagang testimonial nila, how the soil was regenerated with the food waste. Dito sa atin, partner nating farmer si Gio from Elements of Tomorrow, dinala niya yung mga fermented food waste from Good Food Sundays. So before the pandemic, Good Food Sundays sa Mandaluyong, kinokollect namin yung food waste, they're Bokashi brand. And then some of those food waste, dinala sa farm sa, this is in Tarlac. So just to show, yung right side ng photo, tinanim yan na walang food waste dun sa soil. Pero the left side, naglubog muna ng food waste, fermented food waste bago nagtanim ng ng eggplants, ng talong. So kita niyo naman yung difference kung paano tumubo yung nasa kaliwa. Yung mga partners natin sa isang farm sa Quezon City, ang description nila, ang OA daw tumubo ng kanilang mga pananim dahil mabilis umusbong and matataba yung stem, malalago yung dahon. So, in terms of the services that we do, dito natin sila dinadala. Meron tayong mga partner na composting gardens and farms. Isa dyan yung minention kong Quezon City. So this is a project of Food Today, Food Tomorrow, slow food community. And tinulungan ng slow food na magkaroon sila ng urban garden. So we bring some of our buckets of food waste doon. Meron silang composting space. And yung compost ginagamit nila doon sa kanilang garden. At yung isa naman nating partner is an organic farm in Caliraya, Laguna. So ito naman, malaking farm. May malaki silang space to bury all the buckets and drums of food waste. Imagine tumatawid pa ng Caliraya Lake itong ating mga buckets and drums of food waste. Pero better than transporting them to landfill, but eventually, kasi syempre ayaw naman natin ng carbon footprint. Eventually, what we want to happen is they get to bring this kind of service within the Caliraya community para yung food waste nila doon makompost na sa farm. But right now, they welcome all the food waste coming from our clients para they can use it sa farm nila. So, syempre, mahilig tayo sa rewards. So, in our mobile app, when you decide to compost and when you start exchanging your buckets, you earn points then. We call it compost credit. And those compost credits, you can eventually exchange or redeem some compost, gamitin mo sa garden mo, or kung hindi mo naman kailangan sa garden mo, you can donate to partner gardens and farms. Or kung masyadong marami kang points na maipon na compost credits, you can exchange it for gulay bags, which we get from our partner na Good Food Community. At ganun din, if you don't need it or kung gusto mong i-share with others, you can choose from the partner communities who will receive your vegetable or your gulay bag. So there, what's next? I hope we all talk about food waste. Isama natin sa conversation kasi meron na ba sa inyong nagtanong sa mga kaibigan or kamag-anak nyo, o kamusta sa bahay nyo? Nagko-compost na ba kayo? I bet wala pang ganong klaseng conversation. Kasi we don't talk about it. Pag nagplano kayo ng birthday party, meron bang nakatoka? Anong gagawin natin sa food waste? Sinong assigned? Usually wala. So I hope after what you've seen now, you consider that. Basta may kainan, iplano nyo na agad what will happen to the food waste. Meron ba tayong paraan na hindi siya mag-end sa landfill? So, wanted soilmate. So, yun pala yung tawag namin, yan, Sika, our soilmate. So, mahirap daw maghanap ng soulmate. May soulmate na ba kayo? So, kung wala soulmate na lang muna. And let's start composting out of our food waste. Decide to get started. Huwag nang mag-isip kung mag-compost ba or hindi. Either you do your own composting, just get the materials and set up your own soil factory, your garden composting. Or if you can't do it, subscribe to the service, you collect, and we will compost for you. So that's okay. That's the end of my presentation. Again, going back, let's make the change from landfillers to land healers. So I hope you're inspired na ay may halaga pala yung ating food waste at sinasayang pala natin to pag tinatapon natin. And from our own garden, later on nakita natin na we're growing all these community gardens, we're having healthier soil everywhere, at mas marami na tayong maitatanim na puno, magka-sequester ng more carbon from the atmosphere. Dugtong-dugtong na yan. Everything is interconnected. Di ba, no? Yan ang favorite nating concept, Karen, na everything is interconnected. We think of our food waste biglang sa, climate change, our personal health. So, that's it. Thank you very much for listening. Balik ko na sa inyo, Karen.
Okay, thanks. Thank you very much, Rina. Just a few more minutes now. So let's wrap up. So the first episode, what did we learn? We learned how to plant, no? We learned how to prepare our homes for planting, starting our own little urban gardens. It doesn't have to be complicated. Pwede tayo mag-umpisa sa munggo lang. Diba? Second, what did we learn? We learned about seeds. Gaano ka-importante ang seeds, di ba? We learned that everything that we eat, almost everything that we eat right now that comes from plants comes from seeds. Tapos, sa third episode, we learned that kung hindi tayo seed sovereign, wala tayong food sovereignty at wala tayong food security. So, ganun ka-importante ang seeds. And everything is interconnected. And lastly, we learned about soil. Yung sinasabi ni Rina kanina, 'di ba, yung which is yung effective microorganisms, it's a combination din ng microbes that actually feed on the food waste. So, tama yun. Remember, in seeds, meron tayong tinatawag na fermentation na process to prepare our seeds for storage. Meron din tayong fermentation for soil. Take note, the more microbes you have, the healthier your soil, the wider your base that supports your food pyramid. All right. Sige. Is there anything else? Oh, one more thing pala. Reens, looking at your presentation, ang dami-dami kong na-realize. Ang dami pala nating mga common stuff. So Rina and I met in 2019, was it? 2019, no? We were invited to talk with, was it Senator Lauren Legarda that time,
Or,
right?
yeah.
Oo. Tapos we met again, kasi we didn't really connect nung time na yun. And then we met again sa Climathon Pasig naman, where we became fellow coaches. So until now, we're continuing to find mga common grounds and areas na we can work together. Pero another thing that outside of this topic na we're actually very much into is interconnectedness and healing outside of the normal modalities that we know. So outside of the Western medicine that we know, healing from food, healing from energy, yung mga ganon, using those things. So yun. Do we have any questions, any comments, any thoughts? Oh, and by the way, yung combination na yun, the four series, the 4 webinar series, I think we can realize na yung the steps that we can take to reduce our carbon footprint. Umpisa lang kayo sa small steps lang talaga. And then reach out to us because we'd be happy to help you guys out. Because it takes a certain kind of weirdo to get into this kind of work, right, Reens? And we accept that.
Ni-reveal mo naman ng weirdo.
Good weirdo.
It's a compliment, Reens. It's a compliment because
Yeah.
sometimes when we don't know our boundaries, we push stuff and then we create space for other people to follow. So yun. Do we have any questions, thoughts, comments?
Okay,
Additional
question,
question.
anyone? Go ahead, Herb.
Yeah, I do have a question with Miss Rina. So I was just interested regarding sa food I'm sorry sa soil ng kasi nung pinakita yung picture na with the couple with the big upo. Yeah, I was just interested to know if may effect ba nung magandang pag-process ng soil or using soil sa pag-grow ng bigger plants or bigger vegetables or fruits. Ayun. Or does the soil affects the fruits or the vegetables nung laki nila? Parang ganun.
Yes, definitely. The healthier the soil, mas ma-absorb ng plants through the root system yung nutrients na supposedly available sa soil. It's the microbes sa soil. Tama ba, Karen? Diba? It's the microbes sa soil na when they start working, digesting all the or parang organic matter doon sa soil, they're preparing all these nutrients na ma-absorb ng plants through the root. Kaya pagka-degraded yung soil, kagaya nung nandun sa pot, yung from Davao, degraded yung soil, walang nakukuhang nutrient yung halaman. So, hindi tumutubo ng maayos sa taas kasi poor yung root system na health. Yun. If you can add more, Karen.
Yun, don't forget interconnectedness. So, the better the soil life, better the soil health, equates to better nutrients ng plants. And better nutrients sa plants equates to a better na gut microbiome. If you want, I have resources also that I can send you, mga podcasts, mga videos that you guys can watch that I think you will find interesting.
Yeah, I think you can share it with us, Karen. Thank you for that, Mr. and Karen. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Herb. Do we still have other questions or reaction? But you know what? I think the large, yung upo na yon, it's really possible because back in the days, when I was still young, hindi ko na re-reveal ko anong decade. So, namamalengke kami ng lola ko. Meron mga ganong kalalaki. Right? I think at that time, healthy pa yung soil, no? But nowadays, maliit na siya. Hindi na ganon kahaba. Okay, so, there. Anyone else? You can also share what struck you the most about this episode. Right?
Nakita ko lang to sa comment, si Sir Bert din pala, no, bihira daw mapag-usapan sa get-together. Hindi naman talaga natin, di ba, parang who would want to talk about waste habang nagkakainan tayo. Pero di ba, we have to talk about it kasi nga binabaliwala usually. Basura yun, so papakil sa basura. Pero pag may party, oh, Herbert, ikaw ang assign mga lekta ng food waste, saan natin yan i-compost? Well, what if ganun? So, walang masayang.
I
Yeah,
agree.
thank you.
Maliban na lang kung everyone eats everything.
Biglang
Simot,
no, wag mo
simot
naman
lahat.
Simot na
okay,
simot.
wag
Iba
mo
pala
naman
yung isa
sabihin sa
Sharon eh.
wag mo naman
Waste
sabihin
food.
sa guest mo na, uy, wag niyo ubusin, nagko-compose kami dito.
Yeah, one of the things that was part of yung presentation ni Rina was Good Food Community. So Good Food Community partners with farmers here in Benguet and Mountain Province. So kumukuha sila ng organic na vegetables dito and they bring it down to Metro Manila. I'm just not sure what their schedule is. Reens, baka you can tell them. But I can also find out if anyone's interested. So hindi siya, this isn't parang shameless plugging. This is actually because we believe in each other's causes. That's why we work together.
And they have a very beautiful model na talagang focus to help the farmers. Kasi their subscription model is you subscribe to them to receive gulay every week, not knowing kung ano yung harvest for the week. Kasi kung ano yung ma-harvest ng farmers, hahatiin nila yun sa bags ng subscribers. And then, depending on how much you pay, you'll receive whatever gulay is there. So, it's not like may maiiwang tanim si farmer A, si farmer B, kasi hindi yun na market. The subscribers of Good Food Community, out of their willingness to support the farmers, kung ano man yung laman yung basket ko for this week, I'll take it and cook whatever is in it. Ganon. Kaya talagang it's designed to help our farmers.
You also learn to be creative, di ba? Because you're given ingredients na surprise.
Yes.
Wait, I can see KG and Kat and what are you guys showing?
Are you guys
Oh,
holding
yung
the seeds?
seeds.
We have
There.
been
Awesome.
waiting. We're at the office kasi nag-pack na kami ng starter seeds for our participants.
Yay, that's awesome. Do we have any other
Other
questions?
questions from the participants? I think that's it, no? So thank you so much, Miss Rina, Karen, and Efren. Right. So I think at this point we'll turn the mic over to Herbie or anyone from our marketing team.
Ay, parang nagpe-prepare na silang sumayaw.
Oo.
Sasayaw na ba kayo, Cage?
Photo op na ba, guys?
Ay, okay.
Photo op. Ayan. So thank you, Karen, and thank you, Miss Reina, sa presentation. Very, very informative talaga siya. And now, I'm requesting everyone, if you can please open your camera. Let's take a photo.
Face reveal,
So,
guys.
ayan, face reveal. Open your camera, guys. Don't be shy, guys. Wait, I'll just. Mm, oops, I think I have no problem. There you go. Yeah. So everybody, smile. One, two. Okay, another one, another one. Okay, guys. One, two, three, and
Oh,
ayan. Thank you, guys.
oh,
Thank you for the
ano
presentation.
don't
Mhm.
hesitate to subscribe. You're 1,000 strong or 1,500 strong. So imagine what you can do in terms of food waste, in terms of reducing your carbon footprint. All right,
Yes,
guys. Maraming
yes.
salamat.
All
Salamat.
right. Everyone,
Sorry,
in
sorry.
June,
Yes.
July, and 6th, we're going to have episode 5, right?
Yes. And just a additional G
Mm-hmm.
so what we've mentioned nga kay na ni la Kat, we are packing na ng mga seeds. So here you can see, I'm not sure if you can see it on my screen. So this what our participants will get. Each will get a um one pouch of kale, one pouch of pechay, and one pouch of lettuce. So all participants, all attendees who attended our
Wow.
webinar from episode 1 hanggang episode 4. So they will all receive seeds, not just seeds, also certificates to prove that they're all Earth advocates. So congrats everyone, and we are very thankful and happy that you joined us here in our webinar. So yeah. Um also we still have a surprise for you guys. So we are gonna have episode 5 this July. We will update you. We will send you updates on what will be the topic will be and what will be the what can you learn about that one. So stay tuned and thank you. Ayun. Thank you guys. Thank you.
Maraming salamat. Bye,
Thank
Rins. Take
you.
care.
Bye, everyone.
Ingat sa pag-drive, ah. Sige, bye-bye.
Stay safe, guys. Bye bye.
Bye.